All right, let's get started. I'm so happy to welcome Elizabeth to my live coffee chat today. Elizabeth and I, we go like way back to like when I first started here on LinkedIn. And what I really wanted, I was so excited, first of all, okay, look, I don't even know what to say here. I was so excited to hear that you took the big leap earlier this year and left corporate and went out on your own, which is, I have a million questions for sure, but I'm just glad that you're able to come here and share that with us today. This is obviously very timely from both a good and not so good point of view. I had to share some stats because these blew me away. Between January and April of this year, like 2025, there have been 6.8 million layoffs. That is crazy. But in just May alone of this year, 3.3 million people left voluntarily. That I thought was pretty telling. That's a lot of folks, right?
I didn't
So
know that at all, actually.
yeah,
It's super interesting.
yeah. So 6.8 million layoffs, but 3.3 million voluntarily left. That's huge. So then I was like, okay, so how many people are actually considered solopreneurs in the US? Any guesses? It's in the millions, okay,
I was going to say
obviously.
it must be a big number.
Yeah, is it
in
the
the
3.3
millions.
million?
Nope, nope. Go up north, way north. Any other
18
guesses?
million. 18 million.
I think it's tracking at some point here in the next couple of years to hit 50% of
Ooh.
of employees.
You're pretty close. 41.8 million people identify as solopreneurs.
Whoa.
Self-employed. Yeah. That's a lot. So you're not far off. We're getting really close to that half. So that's interesting. So Elizabeth, thank you for being here. And I'm gonna hit it off with one big question. What made you decide to take the plunge? What made you decide to leave corporate and go solo?
It's not like this. It's not like this, like it happened overnight thing. And I think what I experienced, a lot of people experience, I just decided to take a risk, right? So things happen throughout your career at an organization. And the way I kind of talk about it is like either it's a deposit or it's a withdrawal. And so you ideally want to get as many deposits as possible so that you are feeling fulfilled and that you're reaching your goals and you're doing all of the things. But then also things happen that take away from that cup too. It could be things like org changes. It could be something somebody said. It could be a bad behavior. It could be I didn't get as much of a promotion as I wanted to. It's all circumstantial. Enough of the withdrawals will leave your cup feeling incredibly depleted. And that's ultimately what my story was, right? I started noticing, so I was just telling Anna before everyone jumped on this call, I talked to a lot of solopreneurs who are like, oh, I just couldn't do it anymore. And I had to get out and I just couldn't take it. And it's just so political and the bureaucracy and the da-da-da-da-da, right? Yeah. I personally found enjoyment in going to corporate every day. And I loved being a people person. I loved helping my internal stakeholders. I loved learning the lingo. I loved circling back and putting in it all the time. I loved all that.
Boiling the ocean.
And yeah, boiling the ocean. Why move mountains?
Rinse and repeat.
Name it. But rinse and repeat is like my lifestyle, right? And so don't recreate the wheel. So like all of those things, like I really enjoyed it. And I still, even sitting here as like a solopreneur today, think about going back to corporate someday because I didn't hate it. Anyway, long way of saying, right? Enough withdrawals. One day I just woke up and I realized the culture had changed. The leaders that I admired and the people who I found influential were no longer there. Many of them left on their own. Many of them were let go. It was becoming harder to do things that shouldn't have been so difficult. And I had why do I have to do what I love to do for anybody else? Why don't I just do it for myself? Yeah. We don't have to show up and be miserable all of the time. And so a lot of that culminates to what made me take the leap, among many other things, but I want to be cognizant of time.
No, but I think that's a really good point is when we hear of someone leaving corporate, excuse me, tends to be this negative thing. Even if they left voluntarily, it's, oh, it was just this horrible, wretched place. I couldn't get out of there fast enough. And that isn't always the case. And I think what I've heard from a lot of the people that go into fractional work that I work with, it's more, like you said, it's a culmination of a bunch of small things that eventually point you in a direction of, I think this is where you need to be. So it's interesting.
1000%.
That way. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I can also so I'll share a little personal note, which I think some of you know about me already, but in September, my nephew was diagnosed with leukemia, and my brother was deployed at the time in Jordan. My sister-in-law, she's the mom of 4. This is her oldest. He was 9 at the time. He's 10 now. Being there with him and the family throughout that experience, I mean, your children are my children. It was like, the things that were bringing me down in my job were already becoming hard for me to show up and be happy for. And then when you add a very personal, traumatic situation onto things, it just exacerbates like why this environment over here that doesn't serve me, that doesn't feel good to be in anymore, that isn't fun, like it's not important. Yeah. It's not important. And it makes what I always tell people is the pain and discomfort that I was then experiencing holistically everywhere in my life, right, was outweighing the pain and discomfort of doing something risky, like just quitting my job. And so if doing something risky and scary could potentially fix some of the pain that I was experiencing, why not just go for it, right?
Yeah. I think that's another good point, because when we talk about people who are leaving corporate voluntarily, for example, that's probably one of the most common things that I hear is the quality of your personal life, right? Where corporate was really infringing on your, when you have to check personal life at the door when you show up at your corporate job, right? Like, just, sorry, don't bring that stuff in, keep it out there. This is your own little world here in the corporate existence, right? Yeah. No, that's not how life works, right? And that's one of the most common things, is it's giving me flexibility to have those opportunities to be present for family members or challenging situations or your own self. One of the first fractional clients that I worked with, I loved what he said. He's like, I don't want to retire from my corporate job to find out my kids have grown up and left. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. Because he did. He worked 80 hours a week. And so he's like, my kids will be gone. I don't have that time. Right? And that's actually one of the biggest things for me is because I've been self-employed my whole life pretty well, I got to be that mom that went on field trips with my son when he was in elementary school and high school and whatever, right? That's a huge bonus. And that's important to me. Now, that's not obviously huge for everybody, but that was a big thing for me.
1000%. I want to add to that also. Beth, did you raise your hand? Did I see a hand raised down there at one point? Oh, no. Okay. I just wanted to check and make sure.
But I can answer. I can, sure.
The facilitator in me is just like, oh, I noticed something. I need to call on her. Yeah. What I would say too, though, right? So I was in my corporate environment for 11 years and I had seen a lot of change. I saw 2 different CEOs. I've seen many different just C-suite executives leave. I have had, I think, 7 bosses in 11 years. So like I've seen a lot go on. I had a lot of flexibility with work when it came to work-life balance. And my leader was incredibly like, you do you, just get your job done. Like I had a really great situation, but honestly, where I felt the disconnect the most was, and for those of you who know me, right, I am an extra person. I like doing things extra. I like pushing the envelope. I like being big. I like being loud. I like being the thing that's interesting, because so much stuff about life and work is boring. Like it's so boring. And why do we have to be bored all the time? And my team was also, everyone was going through a lot of different transitionary periods in their own lives. And so when I wanted to do the big things at work, it just became really hard to do because no one else was invested in the job the same way that I wanted to be. And then with all of these other things going on personally, it was like, it didn't make sense to anyway. So who was I kidding? So yeah, it's, you know, a lot of times corporate companies can have all of these amazing benefits and, unlimited time off, and here's employee stock purchase plans and all of these things. But like the culture, if the vibe is not there.
Yeah.
If like the mission does not align to your core values and who you are and what you want to be when you grow up, it is not going to feel good being in that environment. I don't care how many free days off you get. So
no, that's a huge point. That's a really good point. And it's that level of satisfaction in your job. Not everybody has that same level, right? Just before we go on some more, please feel free to jump in. Beth, if you don't mind me kind of tapping on you specifically, is it okay if we share your story a little bit?
Sure.
You being a recent exitee from corporate, where are you at with all of this? How are you?
I was let go, position eliminated after being on and off with the company for 20 years. So I will say, like, some days it hurts and some days it's okay. And I've got friends texting me from work telling me things about there. I'm like, that's not my place anymore. But on the other hand, like Liz was saying, like, I enjoy being home. It's summer. I live on the river. I'm like, hey, this was a great time to do it to me. So I'm glad it wasn't like in December. So I'm loving that I can be here and that I just had a call with Cindy Nagel and shared with her my experience being widowed and how that worked with my financial advisor. Now I feel like I can do things I wish I could do. I don't know what I'll do next, and I'm grateful I don't have to rush right into something. I have lots of ideas, and I don't know how to tell people what I want to do, but it's only been a couple weeks. But it's something that happens to so many people, and so I guess why not? Like, it was bound to happen. It's surprising, and I'll be sad when my sister's driving to work because she's been on vacation most of the time without me, and she probably will be too because we had our sister carpool. So I'm trying to figure out how to get the third sister on the sister carpool, but she will still work there, but she's 52, so she's not long for it. But it's an interesting, and I think since the pandemic, like, workplaces are just a bit different. Sometimes you need a nudge, and Anna's good at nudging, and so I don't think this was all bad. It's hard.
Absolutely. And I think that's part of it, isn't it? There's all these emotions. There's obviously sadness, there's anger, there's frustration, but then there's also, hey, wait a second, maybe this is an opportunity, whether that means solopreneurship or another opportunity in corporate or what have you. It's okay. It's time to go in a new direction. So I
think, I kind of joke when my husband died, it was the fresh start I didn't really want. And so this one, maybe it's a little bit more okay. So we'll see how this goes.
Exactly.
Right or wrong, we just find something new.
You got, for sure. And I think that's part of this conversation. What about you, Robin, Patty? Any insights into your previous corporate existence? If you feel comfortable.
What Liz was talking about really resonated in terms of filling your cup and things getting harder. And I've had experiences where you start out in a job that, like, is so happy, makes you so happy, and, like, it's great, and then a leader changes and everything all of a sudden
makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Different direction, different priorities, and all that kind of stuff. And also the feeling of really liking your manager or colleagues, but then feeling like their work persona just doesn't jive with yours from a values perspective, or from a micromanaging perspective, or having to manage somebody else's insecurities and all of those things. I'm at an inflection point. I'm going all in on coaching and building up a business, but at the same time also might go back into corporate.
Okay.
And so I'm just kind of figuring that out right now.
Well, that's an exciting place to be.
Yeah, but it's exciting to me, the idea of being able to do the things that I am good at, networking, putting people together, pushing projects and programs forward and all that stuff without worrying about stepping on somebody else's toes is really exciting to me.
I think you could probably speak to that. Hey, Elizabeth?
1000%. Yes. And there are, like, you do have to be very aware, like, emotional intelligence in a corporate setting. You have to be, like, heightened alert because people do act like big babies. Like, I am an adult learning expert. People ask, like, I just had dinner with someone yesterday who was like, how is, like, teaching adults different than children? I'm like, it's really not. Really, it's not. Like, behaviorally speaking, it's not. But, like, also scientifically speaking, it is very different. Our brains as adults are very different than, like, you do have to be, but so Robin, along, like, that thread, right? You have to be emotionally intelligent. You have to be socially aware. You have to be, like, political and can I or can I not do something based on someone going to get upset because I'm working on this thing isn't in my scope, whatever. But like in solopreneurship, you're on your own trying to figure that stuff out. And that's really hard, right? So like I was talking to Anna last week of I submitted a proposal to a client. The client is like a sister of a friend. And I'm like, do I discount because she's doing me a favor? Do I not? And I'm going back and forth. And just, you don't have anybody really to tell you what to do. You have people like Anna or friends out there that you can just be like, I'm looking for a perspective, and they can give you that. But ultimately it's on you to make the decision, and it's going to be a reflection of you and your business. And so it certainly has its own set of like emotional intelligent challenges.
Absolutely. And I think that's where having that support and network around you is crucial, maybe even more than ever as a solopreneur. I definitely want to ask you two more questions, and they're related. What has been the hardest thing about going into solopreneurship for you? The most challenging, whatever comes to mind.
So a couple of things come to mind. First of all is like the niching down and like trying to fight being everything to everyone, because I'm so new still that I want to say yes to everything. And there's not much that I'm saying no to right now, even though I probably should, even though I'm getting it out. So like, that's incredibly challenging.
Yeah.
The lack of structure and need for discipline for myself has been a challenge. So like I do really well with structure. I do really well with like time blocking. I know myself well enough to know if I try to be very conscious of like where I'm spending my time, because I know where I'm wasting it and where I'm not wasting it. But also at the same time, I'm not very structured in trying to figure out what that looks like. So I'm working on it.
Yeah. But that's really
those are challenges.
Thing. That's a huge
time management.
Because in corporate, you're much more structured, aren't you? And then when you're here, like we were saying earlier, you're like, oh yeah, but I could just quickly throw in a load of laundry or take the dogs out. Or next thing, there goes like 2 hours. You're like, oh my God, I got to get back to work.
Yes. I have a book that I'm going to recommend. It's a book called We Should All Be Millionaires. And it's written by a woman named Rachel Rogers. And one of the things that she put in this book is like, her whole thing is like, why not you? Idea of something that you want to sell for yourself and you want to be in business and you want to be a business owner. Here's the mindset work that you need to start working on. So her book is really all about that. But the reason why I brought it up is because she's like, if you need to be, the abundance mindset is going to be the thing that's a game changer for you. So if you need to outsource, who does your laundry, if you need to outsource someone to come and make meals for you, if you need to outsource someone to go run your errands for you so that you can prospect more or attend that client meeting or do that thing, like you should view that as an investment strategy rather than 100%. The success that you can't. So I think about that a lot, which kind of goes back to the challenge too of, okay, when I start getting enough revenue in the door, what is my first investment going to be? Is it going to be in an automation tool where I can more effectively prospect? Or is it going to be, hey, Zach, I would like to hire someone to come in and do meal prep for us because I can't possibly handle another conversation about what we're having for dinner and then going to the store, right? So, but for real, and I've already set that expectation. So when I start making enough money, that's the next thing that we're outsourcing. I have not gotten rid of the cleaning lady, by the way. She still comes every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love my cleaning lady.
Same.
But I'd like to just circle back to the first challenge that you said about taking on everything and anything. And that is such a common, that's probably one of the most common things that I hear. And I get it, right? Because you're going from an income to no income or very little income. And that is real. That is life. You don't need millions of dollars, but you do need money to pay your bills and put a roof over your head and all that good stuff. But at the same time, you have to really be so aware of that because you are developing your brand. Your business is your brand. You are your brand. And by, I'm going to charge less because I'm just starting out, or I'm going to do this and this, even though that's totally not my scope. And I'm not saying you are. This is generally what I hear. You are watering down that brand. So that's one of the first things that I like to talk about is just really be aware of what it is you want to do and that niching and all that stuff. You cannot be everything to everyone. It's not going to happen. So who can you be the most awesome Elizabeth for, or
Totally.
whoever, right? So I love that. So now the flip question to that, of course, is what's been the most surprising, awesome thing that's happened in your solopreneur journey? Has there been something?
No, you know what? There has. I am incredibly grateful for the opportunity to even just leave on my own. I know a lot of people, Beth, Robin, you're like, you didn't get that chance. The universe forced you into that corner. And so I'm very aware of the flexibility I have in my schedule. I'm very aware of the time I get to spend with Jack going to clinic days or whatever, right? I would say the most surprising things that feel really great. So I did not anticipate this, but I am getting a ton of value out of in-person networking. And that has been something that I really thought like building a LinkedIn presence was going to help me promote my brand, invite people into a conversation, which it does. And I love the connections that I'm getting from there. But I actually haven't gotten any revenue from LinkedIn. All of the clients that I have, contracts I have in flight or confirmed work has been through in-person networking. And so that's something that I am doubling down on.
Absolutely.
And I didn't expect that. And it's been really wonderful, actually. Yeah.
That's really actually surprising, because you figure now we just all live on Zoom and that's just how things are done. But I think what a cool opportunity, because it's almost like they get a little taste of you in person of what it's like to work with you. So it does a little bit.
And when you're as extra as I am, it translates very easily.
Yeah, exactly.
People are like, oh, get it, you're excited.
Help from all the exclamation marks in my messages. I love that. I love it. I'd love to hear from anybody out there. What's been a big challenge for you in solopreneurship, or what's been a surprising bonus? Like, what's been pretty cool out there for you? How about you, Anna? Do you want to jump in on this one?
Sure. I concur with Elizabeth on the in-person. I'm working with someone here in Victoria, British Columbia, where I'm based, and she mentioned the other day that she hasn't met everybody in Victoria yet. And she's still trying. She literally, she is the most active networker I think I've ever met. And she came out of 20 years working in Canadian federal government, Transport Canada, doing data governance and compliance. Yeah, she's very extroverted, and she loves Mondays, which is something that we have challenging conversations about all the time. But yeah, I've been surprised as well at, how getting more work and more benefit out of the in-person stuff than virtual. And set the table a bit, I've been working remotely since 1999.
Oh, you're way ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
pre-pandemic. Oh my gosh.
True innovator.
I actually am. I set up remote access systems for organizations that were doing work from home back in the late 90s. Oh, right. And I left my 20-year corporate gig in 2015, and I did this for passion reason. Was one of the things. There was two things. That was the one I'll talk about. And I spent 2 years trying to make a living driving cars. So what I found is I'm good, but just not good enough for anyone to pay me.
There you go.
Just leave it at that. And I love being part of this and hearing everyone's stories, and it resonates with me. So thank you for sharing.
And you and I have a pre-existing friendship, so I know that you have, what you're doing is what lights you up. You are doing the thing that you're like, I love doing this. And I think you gotta have that. And if you don't, maybe then that's not exactly where you need to be. And I can even go further back and say, entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. It does take a very unique skill set to be disciplined, to keep picking yourself up when you keep getting knocked down, because you're gonna. And it isn't for everyone, because it's not always that steady paycheck. That consistency it's inconsistently consistent, right? Or consistently consistent.
Consistently inconsistent. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And not everybody craves that, right? There are people who need more structure than that. Yeah, so it's interesting. So I know that about you, Anna. What about you, Beth? You've been surrounded by entrepreneurs in your family.
I have.
And you've seen the good, the bad, the ugly.
Uh-huh.
How does that inspire you? Does it scare you? Anything?
My husband has a startup business, so I was the steady Eddie paycheck and benefits. So I'm trying
Yeah.
not to, it's not rational for me to flip out. So I understand that. But that's a different situation to be in. I grew up with small business owners. My parents don't know how to stop working. My sister now owns one of the businesses. My grandparents own the businesses. My mom grew up on a farm. So I'm grateful for I just keep going. And I think that comes from being around because it was
Yeah.
not good. Like my parents are doing very well and we're fortunate, but I try to explain like that was not their whole story. You're only
Right.
seeing the good
It
part. And
usually
that's
isn't, is it?
no,
Right.
it was not good growing. It was fine. It wasn't bad, but it was not like it was today. So everyone looking at it like, hey, this is great. Like business ownership is the thing. It's not. That's the end of their movie. It's
Yeah.
not the beginning.
Exactly. Or even the
So
middle, right? It's
yeah,
at the beginning or the middle of the movie. And
and
that's
and
unfortunate because that's what we see.
and they have multiple
Yeah.
businesses. So like if one isn't doing so good, there's another one that's probably subsidizing the household. I'm grateful for the lessons. I feel like it was like I wasn't sheltered from anything. There are things I'm like, what do you mean that was what you were trying to do? That makes no sense because I was just exposed to so much. And sometimes like that doesn't always translate well into the corporate world. There were things I'm like, that is not how you would spend your money. So I'm grateful that maybe I can explore that more and do more of what show up more. And my values very much were aligned with where I worked. I could be more me and I could worry less maybe about what you say or what you do. And I like to challenge, I like to ask questions. And so I feel like I can do that more. But I don't know. I don't know if that means I'll start something. I don't know.
Yeah. Who
But
knows?
or maybe I'm like maybe it's cobbling together something part-time and something like that's my
Right.
own. And I'm
Yeah.
grateful to have the flexibility to do that. And I'm also a very
That's
frugal
kind of a nice
person.
compromise.
So
Yeah.
I know I have
That's a good
sacrificed
compromise.
also to be able to have this freedom. So I will
Yeah.
own that. Like I should be
Yeah.
proud of that.
Absolutely. I just think it's fantastic that you've been able to see that glimpse into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that
Mm-mm.
opportunity around them to get a little taste before they get to dive in. I didn't. My mom and dad are the furthest thing from entrepreneur as you could 180. They're literally at the opposite end of that. And even though I know they meant well, but they in the early years were very much, are you sure you want to do that? Because they knew
It's not safe.
they naturally default to it's not a steady paycheck and
Yeah.
all that whole thing. And I knew that it came from love, obviously, but yeah, that's not them. So I never really had that sneak peek into what it could be like. So it's
Just wanted dental insurance like growing up. I was like, I'm gonna go
yeah,
work where I can have my weekends off and have dental.
Terrible
bad.
though.
And paid
What's that?
holidays,
What's that?
that's not a bad thing, right? I love it. I love it. Elizabeth, just in the little bit of time we have left, what is the goal? And I know that, but what is a big, hairy, audacious goal? What's on the horizon that you would be like, oh, it's up there and it's not a today or tomorrow goal, but what's that big, hairy goal?
I want to have a team. I want to have a team of people and I want to run a business and I want to be able, the way I see it today, subject to change, but so for those of you who don't know, I do learning and development. I do corporate program, like learning, leadership development programs. And I see going into a company and offering like training for accounting and finance, for legal services, for operations, right? For IT. I see verticalizing the training approach across the enterprise, and that's the big, hairy, audacious goal. I also want to be able to do that I want to create like a micro economy in doing that, right? So if someone joins me, how do we do like rev share? How do we make sure that we're all in this and want to succeed together? Not just, yeah, I want to make money, but like, why not we all make money too, right?
Yeah.
And so I have these big ideas for wanting to do that. Right now, I'm going to focus on trying to get 6 figures next year.
Yeah, all right.
That's my somewhat big, hairy, audacious
Yeah.
goal. But that's what I'm chasing after right now.
I love it. You have to have those big, hairy goals because you got to see it and you got to start forming the steps to get there. Otherwise, it gets you start floundering pretty quick, right? And I think that's the challenge is either we create the hairy goal without the steps that lead to it, or we don't create the goal and then you're like, what am I doing? And you have to have that part of it. We did talk about discipline a little bit earlier. And I gotta say, that's a tough one for a lot of us, even folks like me that have been at this for, it's going to be 33 years next month, which is pretty crazy when you think about
Amazing.
it. But discipline is hard. It is hard because there are days that you just like, you know what? I don't feel like doing this today. And that's okay. Sometimes it's not part of a bigger picture of burnout or something along there, but sometimes it's, you know what, you just didn't feel like it today. And that's okay. How's that? I know you said that's been a bit of a challenge. What are you doing to help mitigate that, if you will? If
I try
anything,
to
or
fix
you
the
just leaning
routine.
into
Yeah.
it?
No, a little bit of both. I'm a recovering perfectionist. So like type A, corporate America, go above and beyond, do more than what's expected of me, crush it, crush it, crush it, right? That's what I do. And like, I'm trying to scale that back, right? Like my therapist is like, you're not a perfectionist, you have perfectionist tendencies. Keep saying that to yourself. I'm like, okay. But like the reality is like, I have to get comfortable with progress over perfection. So with the whole discipline conversation, how it's, when is it okay to give myself grace? When is it okay to kick it full throttle? When is it okay to say no to something? Like I struggle with a lot of that. The thing that allows me to stay disciplined and consistent is when I just stick to my routine. The routine of rolling my tired ass out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the gym, to come home, to have breakfast, to get my day started by 8, to be off LinkedIn by 9:30, to start doing something. Like when I can actually do that, like first thing in the morning, I end up being more productive. I see myself being more disciplined. But then after 4 or 5 days, I'm like, enough discipline. I could take it easy for a second. So like I still very much struggle with that. I don't know
Need a
what, I
break
think
from
it's always
discipline.
going to evolve. Yeah, it's always going to evolve. And that I think it's having to be, I need to learn to be okay with that.
Yeah. I think we do have to give ourselves a little bit of grace sometimes, don't we? We're not machines.
I've often thought, because I like had ideas on what I would, but like you've never done this before, so like, right, you get a chance every day to try it again, or if it's like I think, oh, I didn't do this day right, and I should have told my husband I wanted to do this. It's like, just do it tomorrow. Like, this is new for both of us.
A new day, new opportunities.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I think that's probably one of the biggest ones I would say for myself is don't beat myself up over what happened yesterday. Learn from it, carry on, and today you got a new opportunity.
Another chance.
Yeah. I know we just have a couple of minutes left. I'm so curious, and I'm sorry, Patty, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I know we haven't met yet, and I'm just curious, what's your background and like what message has resonated with you so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. What you said about choose your hard, that really resonated with me.
Good.
I'm 4 weeks into Solopreneurship.
Yay!
So I really need to.
Like that new. Oh my God. Welcome.
It was my choice to leave an extremely toxic company. As someone with years of experience, I was, as a woman and somebody of a certain age, passed over 3 times for promotions. I was constantly having to pick up the slack for the C&D employees, a high performer in the group. So it was really difficult. It was affecting my mental and physical health. Spent a year in therapy. It just had to happen. I just chose my heart. I know it's going to be hard what I'm doing, but I'm excited to go solo. And it's going to be so much better than what I had to deal with. Because now I know the only person who's responsible is me. And I'm the one who has to get everything done.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very proud of you. That's very exciting stuff. And you got
Thank
this.
you.
That's fabulous.
I love that.
What are you gonna do, Patty? What do you think? What's your
4
focus?
weeks in, like I didn't have a real plan of what I was going to do because I just knew I needed to go. I had to go. And I worked for a government contractor, so they had their whole issues that were going on with layoffs and all of that. So with all the tension that was happening, I knew I had to go. I have a lot of experience in a lot of different things. Somebody called me a Jill of all trades. So it's just looking at those things and what you guys, what really lights you up? What's the thing that you're going to say, yes, I want to do this every single day? I did fundraising and special events for nonprofits. My most current role was strategic communications. So I have a lot of different skill sets.
Yeah.
And
great skill sets.
People who might want to talk to you. So maybe we should have a chat, because
great.
those are, like, no joke. Those are skills that are in demand in a variety of different industries and stuff, especially the nonprofits. Oh my God, the pressure on them now is like even more than ever before, because everybody's, it's all getting cut back. Anyways, we should have a chat regardless. So
Sounds great.
anyways, I'm going to be mindful of our time. We are out of time. I know we could probably keep chatting for ages. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I hope this was as enjoyable for you as it was for me and for the rest of us. It was just really nice to get the human perspective instead of just a stat, right? There's humans behind those numbers. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you to all of you.
Yeah.
And this was awesome. This is something we do every 2 weeks. So every other Wednesday, I do a live coffee chat with a different guest. I've done one solo by myself. I might have to do that one again soon. But this is just something that I do, different topic every time. So hopefully you can join us again next time. But thank you all so much.
Bye.
Bye.